And now, The Good Sports, starring Dave the Hitman Horbinski and Dana the Greatness Hall.
Okay, well, welcome to The Good Sports. This is Dave, the Dana Horbinski, with my co-host, Dana the Greatness Hall.
He just said that.
I know, but
When did you change your name?
For this show.
Well, you could have told me that.
That's okay. That's why I'm doing it right now. So,
Sal Monaco in the background.
Yes. Okay, we're live on out of the studio. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of various subjects. We'll start off with the Buffalo Sabres. There was a rumor flying around that Ryan Miller wanted to be traded out of Buffalo Sabres.
Well, Ryan Miller has been out of the lineup, as we all know, with a concussion. And there's been reports today that out of Edmonton that he wanted to be traded. They interviewed him today, and he said he wants to stay as a Buffalo Sabre, and I think that's admirable, and I don't think he wants to go anywhere else at this point.
No, I agree with you, Dana, because quite honestly, I think this is the best fit for him right now, despite all the injuries he has sustained so far this season. But I think the team itself, rallies behind him, and I think they look up to him as a leader.
I'd agree with that. He is kind of like their heart and soul, because if he plays good, the team wins. If he doesn't do so good, they lose.
Yeah. I mean, the backup Enroth is doing an okay job, but I think, like you said, Ryan Miller is the heart and soul of the Buffalo Sabres.
I think a comparison would be Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Thigpen.
Okay. I agree with you there. So, we can squash those rumors flying around. I think Ryan's going to stay put where he's at because he has the heart of the fans and also has the heart of the team.
And I think with Terry Pegula and family in control of the Sabres now, I think that they're making it a place where people will want to come and play.
Dana, did you say Pigpen?
Thigpen.
Oh, Thickpen. Okay,
Thigpen.
just making sure.
Yeah. No.
Thigpen.
Yeah.
Okay.
First name escapes me at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I think that with the new owner taking over, it definitely has brought a little bit more enthusiasm to the fans, and also a piqued interest from other players that want to come and play for the Buffalo Sabres now.
I think that with Tom Golisano, it was buy the team first, then become a fan. With Terry Pegula, it's fan first and then buy the team.
Yeah, I agree with that statement because you can definitely see that he has a heart and he loves Buffalo through and through, and he's going to do whatever it takes to bring a Stanley Cup to the Sabres.
And we deserve a Stanley Cup. We've been waiting for so many years.
Yep, I know. We're overdue in that department. Okay, we're going to move on to the Buffalo Bills now. We have some sad news to report. Ken Hall passed away not too long ago. He was a really good player back in the Jim Kelly era, with the Buffalo Bills.
He was only, I believe, 50 years old, and that's too young to die. He had a liver disorder, apparently, and some internal bleeding, and it took his life far too young.
Yeah, it was quite a shame because he was a great player, and fans looked up to him, and he was center, on the offensive line, So he was the one that was hiking the ball to Jim Kelly.
Or Frank Reich.
Or Frank Reich, yeah, depending on the situation. Okay, another of modern day Bills. We'll talk about Steve Johnson this past Sunday, about his antics, what he pulled there on the field. How do you feel about that?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that they would fine a guy $10,000 for showing his excitement. Certainly, there are other touchdown celebrations that are far more, what's the word I want to use, flamboyant than what Stevie Johnson did. And what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, how do you draw the line?
Well, I agree and disagree with you. I agree that I thought the fine was excessive, quite honestly, but I disagree with you in this aspect because this year they are cracking down on celebrations like that because they call them taunting penalties. And by rubbing in the way that Steve Johnson was doing, I saw the video of it. It was a little excessive, and I think, it was justified that he got what he deserved.
I totally disagree. Football is a game. If people are going to be upset about what Super Bowl or touchdown celebrations players give, then they better go sit on the sideline in their skirts.
Okay, I agree. I agree with that. That's a good analogy. I'm impressed. In some aspects, the NFL, the way they're cracking down on certain things, it's like the no fun league now. It's getting a little out of control in way of all these crazy penalties all the time, and quite honestly, it's delaying the game itself.
I agree with that.
Okay, well, moving on. So, how do you feel so far about the Buffalo Bills doing this year?
Well, they started off great and have really fallen on hard times. It's partially due to the scheduling and the fact that they've been on the road for the last few games.
And also, too, injuries have stacked up considerably against them. It seems like we've gotten snake bit again this year with the amount of injuries they've sustained.
Just today, Terrell Troop was placed on injured reserve.
Yeah, I know. That's another one. How many injuries has that been, over the past couple weeks?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a shame, too, because we started off so well in the beginning of the year, and all of a sudden, these injuries mounted, and we went to a tailspin downward spiral. It's really sad because I was thinking this might be the year for the Bills.
And a sad note is that Fred Jackson is out for the season.
Oh, I know that. When I heard that, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, that's it. It's over." I mean, he was the bread and butter of the offense.
And just as much as Ryan Fitzpatrick is a quarterback, Fred Jackson was a definite leader for this Bills team, and he will be for years to come.
No, I agree with that statement too. And quite honestly, the way that Fitzpatrick got his contract extension, I don't know if it was just pure coincidence, but he's been kind of stinking the joint out ever since he got that contract signed.
I don't think so, but being a quarterback in Buffalo is a hard job, especially when people compare Jim Kelly and Frank Reich.
Well, they set the standards.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I agree with that statement, Oracle.
That's Observer.
Sorry, Observer.
Oh,
Sorry.
And by the way, at the beginning of the season, the critics were saying the Bills were the team to beat. Well, now half a season later, everybody is beating the Bills.
Well, I heard another thing flying around. If you want to look like a Hall of Fame quarterback or offense, play the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, that's not nice. And what?
I'm not saying. I'm saying this. I heard this.
And what are you doing wearing a Miami Dolphins shirt?
Because I'm a Miami Dolphin fan.
You need to move to Miami.
I've been a Miami Dolphin fan since Dan Marino.
Well, I hate Dan Marino. And I hate you, too.
Well, Wow, I feel the love here right all of a sudden.
Only because you're a Dolphins fan.
Oh, okay. All right. Once the shirt comes off, we're best of buds. Just to let you know, everybody.
That's probably true. I won't confirm it, though.
Or deny it. Okay. Any other topics you want to talk about?
Well, I'd like to talk about the NBA.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. They did finally reach a contract agreement. Christmas Day is going to be the beginning of their season, and they agreed to have a 66-game season this year.
Yeah, well, I think what really matters here, not the owners, not the players, but the cities where these teams are. You know, the restaurants around the stadiums or the arenas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody was suffering. Yeah, I agree with that statement. You know, I'm kind of glad that they saved the season this year because at first it was starting to look really bleak.
Prince agrees with you too, by the way.
Oh yeah, that little bark from the background, that was my godson Prince. He was just saying hello. And, getting back to the topic in hand, I'm kind of grateful that they actually agreed, to have a season because it's definitely going to help a lot of people out.
You know, sports is not just about the players and the owners. It's about the fans and the people who depend upon there being a season.
And work behind the scenes, too, at these arenas. They have to have workers that work in concession stands, pass out the programs or paraphernalia, memorabilia, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah. Well, so good luck to, the NBA. Hopefully they'll have a good year this year. And let's see if the Dallas Mavericks will repeat as champions.
Yeah, I am a fan, not of the Dallas Mavericks, because as a Buffalonian, I hate everything Dallas. But Mark Cuban is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm a fan of his.
Yep.
Simply because several years ago they had this TV show where they were giving away, I believe, $1 million to whoever the winner was of a contest, a season-long, TV season-long contest. And they showed Mark Cuban's home, and in one of the rooms of his home, even though there was a chandelier in it, the wiffle ball room.
Okay.
And any guy that can have a wiffle ball room in his house is pretty cool with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my favorite team in the NBA is the Boston Celtics. I've always been a Celtic fan since the 80s, since Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, the five all-star lineup, as I called it back then. And I'm still a fan of even today.
Well, hey, basketball doesn't really do it for me. I'm not really a basketball fan. If the Lakers and Celtics are in it, I'll watch. But I don't really have anything invested in whoever wins.
Well, it's going to be an interesting year because I think Phil Jackson has retired from coaching, so he is not coaching the Lakers this year. And with all the scuttlebutt and kind of egos out in Los Angeles right now, I don't know if the team's going to get, do any good this year because it seems like they're fighting within themselves.
Yeah, Kobe, I think, is a tough player to be a teammate.
Yeah, he is a very individualistic player. He's not a team player because it's not like when back in Michael Jordan days where for a while there, he seemed like Michael Jordan was carrying the Chicago Bulls on his shoulders. But eventually, he finally got some supporting cast to help him out.
Scottie Pippen, John Paxson.
Yep. Horace Grant was another one. Bill Cartwright was another one. Craig Hodge, was, he finally got some help in Chicago, and it kind of mellowed him out a little bit because then he kind of dropped the ego, after a while, after he got some supporting cast. And that certainly helped, have earned him a lot more respect in the fans' eyes, quite honestly.
Yeah, there was a question about Michael Jordan if, when he went back to play baseball, was it a secret suspension from the NBA for his gambling?
Okay. That's interesting.
It was never ever answered,
Yeah.
but it's a question that some people had at the time.
Well, if you have any more subjects, I think we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you very much, Dana the Greatness, for co-hosting with me. And this is Dave, the Davinator Horbinski, signing off from Good Sports. All right.
See you next time.